So this is like my love, my passion. And so this is a beautiful, look at the iridescence of this glass, and it has panels cut into it. I don't know if you could see this, but you see like little cathedral windows. And this is a piston pump perfume atomizer. It is antique. These are not found very often. It's not, I wouldn't say rare, but they're not found very often. Why? Because women did not like them. They used to pump the perfume up and down, and what would happen, it would leak out of this little nozzle and down a lady's gloves and stain them, or stain their clothes. And so it would come out spotty at best out of the atomizer. They had the bulb perfume bottles with the little hose where you squeeze the end of the pear-shaped bulb, but these were the newest invention. And guess what? This one is one of the older ones. Generally, you'll find these from the 1920s, 1930s. And by the way, they really stopped making them after that because they just were not hot sellers. But this one was made in around 1908. Now, a lot of French manufacturers were making the glass for these piston pump atomizer bottles, and different various makers, mostly French, would make these piston pump metal tops. But this one happens to be a Bohemian glass piece with the original label that was once affixed to it. It's long gone, as you can see down there. But this was made by a company in the Kingdom of Bohemia, which we now know as the Czech Republic or Czechoslovakia. And okay, so two brothers, the brothers group, actually Gebruder, which in German means brother, or Bruder means brother, Rachmann made this. And they have a catalog, boys and girls. We're going to check out this catalog from circa 1907, 1908. You're going to see loads of beautiful Bohemian glass. The Bohemians were really known for their glass. Although French ones are worth way more, with French art glass makers making these bottles, the Bohemian ones really, really rivaled the French ones in an amazing way. Look at this iridescence. Now, Bruder Rachmann was a competitor of many other Bohemian glass makers, but he was prolific, meaning he made many, many, many pieces of glass, not just toiletries like this, but vases and all sorts of things for your house. Very, very useful thing. Oh, so I have it depressed right now. Now, this would be a travel atomizer. It would fit in luggage or a trunk, and so you can push the plunger down. Now, by the way, I thought I'd make you guys laugh. I just got an intervention. So my 80-year-old father recently called me up and said, you have a problem, we need to discuss this. And he came over the house and he said, you have nothing but junk. We have to get rid of all the junk. And then I showed him the history of many of my different antiques, including my Civil War sword. And guess what? My old man said I was a genius. Now, if you know my old man, which you don't, he never has a nice thing to say. And so he said, my daughter is a genius to my stepmother. And he got really so interested in my antiques when I was telling him the history of them that guess what? He's coming over next week because he wants to learn more. So no more intervention. All right, let's go check out the different patents and the different products that Gebruder Rachmann made in around 1908. Try to do this fast. I might even fast forward it and sound like a chipmunk. But basically, this company started in 1876 with Wilhelm, who was born in 1846 and died in 1916, and his brother Heinrich founding Bruder Rachmann Company for glass refining and trading in Bohemia, which we now, I think we call the Republic of Czech or something like that. In 1884? Yeah, the company relocated to Haida, which is the Czech Republic or Bohemia, and it was the center of the Bohemian glass trade at the time. In the same year, the brothers set up a sales office in Berlin and also ran the manufacture of metal goods there, which later relocated to Bohemia. And what's really cool is these metal goods were used for mounting glass items, particularly for the Art Nouveau arts and crafts style. The company was the first in the German-Austrian region to specialize in this field. The company's products were introduced to the Czech region, which is Bohemia back then, now the Czech Republic or the Czechoslovakia area. All right, so in the Bohemian forest, they actually inspired many famous glass makers who were prolific in the same area, and Bohemian glass is really fun to collect. Now, unfortunately, after World War II, the company was expropriated, meaning it was taken away from them by the Czech partisans and the Czech government, who were communists, without compensation at all. And the owner family was expelled. Now, other relatives of Bruder Rachmann, like brothers, were actually murdered, and we'll get to that soon. They were murdered by the Czech communist partisans right after World War II because there was hatred for the Germans. Okay, so you see these sad-looking people here? They were actually German citizens that were being expelled from all different European regions, especially Czechoslovakia, or back then what we knew as Bohemia. Hundreds of thousands of Germans were tortured, murdered, thrown in concentration camps, and expelled from many different countries, their businesses and homes taken away from them, as they actually were put on cattle cars, and many, they estimate, I think, between 40 and 200,000 Germans were murdered, killed, tortured, or died from starvation. So basically, an eyewitness of the Second World War, describes an event from the time where wild explosions were happening, where they were getting rid of a lot of German people, German nationals. Barely a month after the end of the war, on June 2nd, 1945, a Czech Revolutionary Guard also entered the northern Bohemian town of Nový Bor, then Haida. Now, these were communists. They were communists, and it was a revolutionary, uprising of Czechs. And what they did was they went into the town in Haida, and they shot 8 German men and women in the market square and left the bodies of the innocent people in the front of the town hall for 24 hours as a deterrent. The following day, they killed another German from a transport who came from in a cattle car, being chased across the German-Czech border. It turned out I found out more information, but it disappeared from the internet. I saw this last year when I was reading about it. The family members were actually, their fingernails were ripped out. They were tortured so bad that every time they would pass out, they would throw ice water on them to revive them so they can torture them for some more time. So this was very, very brutal. People were actually lined up. They were made to dig their own graves, lined up in front of each hole and shot and pushed into the hole. Very sad. So here are some of the advertisements that I found. This one is from 1911, where they did have pump-type perfume bottles. So you can see here the little children are pumping this little cylinder up and down, and then the perfume spray comes out of here. And that is really cool. That was their logo, Mercury, with B and R standing for Gebruder Rachmann. Now here's one of the piston pump atomizers right there. This is a very early, probably about 1907, 1908. Ad, and this is their logo. It's advertised as in Berlin and Haida, as you can see here. Wow, look at that. And we got one of those piston pump atomizers. Okay, the really cool thing is I found a patent in America for one of these piston pump atomizers. This is what it looks like inside. And when I took mine apart to clean it, it was exactly like this right here, dated 1903, May 5th, 1903. So the Rachmanns even opened up patents in the United States of America. Now, I just wanted to show you other types of atomizers, and here is a bulb style, and with a rubber hose, 1899. And look at that. This is a patent for these atomizer bottles, not like the piston pump like I have, but with a rubber bulb and a hose. But these actually have been around since the Victorian era. Now, I was lucky enough to find one of their catalogs, and it says on the top, Bruder Rachmann, Haida, Bohemian. And here is the year of 1907 and 1908. And you can see many different types of atomizers that they were making. Some with the rubber bulb, some with really odd contraptions right there. Some with this action that you see on the top with the metal, where you pump it up and down that way, and then the spray would come out of this little nozzle on the top. Many different kinds of glass designs in different shapes. Some cut, some painted. We got a metal box with a picture in their catalog. We have spray with some weird, look at that pump attached to the hose. We have a, here we go, piston pump atomizer with some kind of cut glass. They called it the Mercury. That was their line of the piston pumps. And let's go ahead and look at some more. And here we go. We have another Mercury. And, ooh, look at this. This has the window pane glass like mine with church cathedral-like windows. And this is a pump. Here's another odd pump. Look at that. That's really cool. A Mercury, which has some kind of beautiful cut glass design on there. You can actually buy the spray attachment separately. But look at all these different bottles they made. Now here's a close-up of one of their piston pump atomizers with the top pushed down, like I showed you. Cut glass. And yet another one with cut glass. Look at the beauty of this. 1907, 1908. Here's another one they made with acid etching or cut crystal with hand-painted enameled flowers. And this one is another piston pump atomizer where the top springs up. And this one has beautiful ruby cut to clear glass with a beautiful pattern that is wheel cut. Really lovely. And it's shaped round. Usually the other ones are shaped cylindrical in style. This one's a nice round one. Now, I thought this one was pretty cool. Again, this is from their 1907, 1908 catalog. Look at this really cool pump, and it's metal. And imagine, I've actually never even seen one of these ever for sale. It's not to say that I haven't missed one or two floating around out there, but I've never seen one of these. And it says hand-painted glass, made again by Bruder Rachmann. And yet, here's another Bruder Rachmann special. Hand-painted enameled glass, really beautiful with a pump on the top. They also made these. Now, a lot of people, if you collect perfume bottles, will find these 4-bottle caddy sets, 3-bottle caddy sets, and you'll see crystal bottles in a beautiful gold ormolu type of holder. And I always thought they were always French. Baccarat glass, perhaps St. Louis crystal in France. But it looks like Bruder Rachmann was making them as well in 1907, 1908. And it says the finest of crystal glasses in gilt frames of bronze. And it was 1908. Prices per dozen. Boy, oh boy, I'd like to go back in time and grab a few of these. Now, here's another anomaly. These little painted glass that you'll find if you collect glass will have these little children painted in enamel on the glass, and everyone calls it Mary Gregory glass, named after an American glass worker in, I think, somewhere in maybe the Massachusetts area or the Northeast. And they called it Mary Gregory glass because her name was Mary Gregory, and they claim she was the one to invent these little hand-painted children on glass. But guess what? In 1907, 1908, it was made in Bohemia. So I have a feeling Mary Gregory is not even a true thing. It was actually a Bohemian invention. Now, I love collecting these type. These are called Aladdin top bottles. I don't know if you can see, it's shaped like a genie bottle. I have a few of these in my collection with the actual rubber bulbs. They do harden over time and turn hard as stone. But yeah, I love these Aladdin top perfume bottles. So if I had to pick from all these, which one would I pick? Oh my God, maybe the toilet set with the several glass bottles in it, or maybe the odd one with the crazy mechanism right there, or I like the one on the top right. Wow, that's like really Art Nouveau with jewels on it, and an Aladdin top. Maybe, unless I would go with another piston pump perfume atomizer bottle. I don't know. You tell me in the comments below which one you would pick. You thought I was done. I'm not done. Okay, here's more from their catalog. Really beautiful. Look at the glass works. You might even have one of these bottles in your collection without even knowing. These are enameled glass. I really like the enameled glass. Oh, wow. This is enameled as well with gold gilding. Gorgeous. And let's take a look. Oh, here we go. More cut glass piston pump atomizers. They even show you the action of the mechanism as you pump this one up and down. Wow. All right, which one would you pick? I don't know which one I would pick. Write it in the comments below. Oof, look at that. And this and... So doing historical research like this makes it easier for me to date my perfume bottles. These specifically odd, which a lot of collectors think these are odd. They're not like the regular hose and rub bulb pump type atomizers. I love these piston pump style ones. They're getting harder and harder to find because not too many people like them when they were actually made. But if you're thinking a lot of them are French, I'm starting to I'm really interested now because I think most of them may have came from Bruder Rachmann in Bohemia. And here's a beautiful enamel one. And this line was called Mercure. I guess after Mercury. It says Perfume sprays Mercure patent mountings made of brass, nickel plated or gold plated. By the way, the gold plated ones were of course priced higher. Crystalline colored bottles, nicely cut and engraved. Prices per dozen, 1907, 1908. Now, this peculiarly says, sprays ideal, in quotes, patents granted in the principal countries. So I guess some of the patents we were seeing, he was actually doing in America, making patents as well. Here we go. It says, patents granted in principal countries made of brass, nickel plated or gold plated. It's desired with silver plated or sterling silver tops. All the working parts are of metal. No rubber is employed, and the failure of the spray owing to the perishing of the rubber is avoided. Not destructible by climates. And wow, okay, these things are still working, and I have such in my collection. Amazing. 116, 120 years later, these things are still in operation, boys and girls. Now, doctors used to use these bottles actually to spray in the backs of people's throats when they had ear, nose, and throat doctor appointments. They would spray the medicine in the back of people's throats with these. So not only was these useful as perfume atomizers, they were great for dispensing medicine that was liquid. Oh, I found more. I found more. Here we go. A beautiful piston pump Mercure with the hand-painted enamel work. Oh, wow. Yeah, we got more. Aladdin top with painted glass. Oh, let's check out more. Mercure, a round one. And yeah, they keep going, boys and girls. Oh, look at this unusual one. You never see those. So now we know that these particular ones were made at about 1907, 1908. And they're not the 1920s like I thought most of the ones in my collection were. Oh, this one's really beautiful. Look at the gold gild work. Oh, God. And here we go. Another enameled piston pump atomizer by Bruder Rachmann, 1907, 1908. And we'll just keep flipping through the pages of the catalog. Let's take a quick look at some of the things that came from 1907, 1908. They even had a metal one, and it was called the Barber. Interesting. And I just did some screenshots of some of the ones that I have in my collection, so now I can date them. I thought this particular style was French. I thought it was Baccarat glass. No, it was also made in Bohemia. And here we have more of their catalog. Oh, this one. I have this one in my collection, actually. Now I know it's dated 1907, 1908. Quite cool. Yep, there we go, the enameled glass. And I'll show you one that's almost identical to this in my collection. And more of their catalog. And here we go with that Mary Gregory style glass that everyone's convinced was actually invented in the United States by a woman named Mary Gregory at the Boston and Sandwich Glass Company, I believe. And no, it was probably invented in Bohemia. And more in their catalog. You might have one of these in your collection. If you do, write it in the comments below. Inquiring minds would love to know if you have a Bruder Rachmann in your collection. And here we go, the bogus Mary Gregory style glass that everyone thinks was made by Mary Gregory. Nope, it's a Bohemian invention, boys and girls. And oh yeah, we got more. Look at their catalog. Holy cow, I'd like to have every one of these in my collection. Definitely. Oh boy. Look at this one. Look at the hose, and wow, that's pretty wild. And we have ones with little cherries on it. We got the Mercure line, which is ruby or cranberry glass that's cut. Beautiful panels in it. Aladdin glass. Oh wow, look at this. Look at the way the pump is on this one. Really cool. And there's more. And we'll just keep going. And look at this one. I would love to add this one to my collection. With an Art Nouveau lady with the Aladdin top, rubber bulb style. Not going to happen. I have never seen another one like this out there. So the sad part, here's a piston pump atomizer. The sad part is most of this stuff is lost to history. A lot of people thought it was junk many years ago, threw it in the garbage. People such as my dad, who had an intervention with me and said, you have a huge problem. Stop buying things. And then he actually came to my house for an intervention to have a discussion for me to stop collecting these things. And then when I started showing him, well, he was having a grand old time. checking out all my antiques. And then he said, "You're a genius. Keep doing what you're doing, daughter. I finally got the confirmation I needed." And he stopped calling me a hoarder now. He said, "You're not a hoarder. You're a saver of the past. You're you're a guardian of the past. You actually saved history." And he said, "We should open up a museum together." And yeah, he's a little bit odd too. Now I even have this one, this odd square. Look at this. It goes square all around it with the cut raised glass. I have this in my collection in red and ruby glass. And guess what? I always thought it was French. I guess it's Gebruder Rachmann. That's right, Gebruder Rachmann. Now I would love to add these. Wow, look at this. Bonbonnières. I think that means chocolate box. Look at this glass with gold gilding. Actually, it's metal, gold ormolu surrounding that. I would love to have this line in my collection. Look at the bottles. Now, a lot of people would say, oh, French, Baccarat glass, St. Louis glass. No, it's Bruder Rachmann. All right. I'll show you one more part of their catalog. And these are the ones with the rubber bulb atomizers. These are circa 1907, boys and girls. Oh, but I had to show you some more. Here we go again, 1907, 1908. Bruder Rachmann Aladdin genie bottles. Really quite lovely. Look at the beauty of these. Oh, you thought I was finished? No. And they had the pumps on the top also, which is a cool design with cut glass or painted or enamel glass. Oh, there's Mary Gregory again. Boys and girls, Mary Gregory wasn't an American invention. I can assure you right now, we solved the mystery. Oh yeah, there's more. Look at this beautiful Art Nouveau style glass. Oh God, all painted. We got like another almost cameo, almost like Mary Gregory, but an adult lady's profile. Really beautiful. Yes, I'd like to have these in my collection. Oh, there's more. Let's just go through it really fast. Take a quick gander at some of these bottles. You might have them in your collection right now as we speak. And there's more. And, wow. Ring doorbell just interrupted my video. Sorry about that, but there we go. You might have these bottles in your collection right now as we speak. Oh, God. There's that one again that I love with the gold ormolu with the pump on the top. Oh, my God. I've never seen this one with a pump like this. Yeah, if you were to buy this, if someone was to be selling one of these on the internet, I'd say easy, $300 to $600 to $800 just for one of these. Ha! There's more. You see, I told you, this was a prolific glass maker. The Rachmann brothers, one who made the metal and the other who made the glass. And this is Grumpy Smurf, my 80-year-old man who sent me a selfie of himself being angry at my collection. He said, "You are a hoarder. We need an intervention." And look, he has a resting bitch face because he did not know that my stuff was not junk. And now he knows it's not junk. And now he loves my stuff. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you all soon.